I've noticed is that on the newer collection, they take away a lot of the pockets and the studs and all those extra bits and bobs. And that's where they can also cut on the cost, right? And I'm sure we'll see a lot of videos about this upcoming, people unboxing the new collection and comparing it to the old collection in terms of the quality. I think that's something that I would really love to observe and see whether it is worth investing in the new collection and whether these bags are gonna last like some of the other pieces have lasted. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. If you like shopping and handbag videos, guys, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm almost at 20,000 subs, so you guys, I just need your 3,000 subs. I saw on Instagram, so there is a Instagram called DLouisVuitton.com, and they kind of did a comparison between old Louis Vuitton Takashi Murakami prices from the 2000s collection. So they had the Murakami collection, I think, from like 2003 to like 2015 or so. Maybe not that long, but it was quite like, it was like 13, 15 years or something. So they're comparing prices of certain styles from back then and what they're like in the new collection. And I thought it was very interesting to see. Just wanted to discuss it today and see what you guys thought. So they're comparing the Hands Neverfull back in 2008. It was $1,310 US. And they're comparing it to this Flower Neverfull from this year. Or next year, I guess, and it's 2,960. So, yeah, it's gone. I mean, the price is considerably up. Now, what I can say from this is, I would say there's a bit more screen print on this, so that's something. But in terms of the Neverfull, I do feel like it is pretty overpriced for what it is. It is a very simple bag into the way it's made. There's not a lot of hardware, and it's a very simple tote. Although it's practical, I do think, personally, I think it's a bit expensive for what it is. Each to their own, but in terms of the design of it, it hasn't changed very much. So, you know, the vachetta leather, like the proportions of the handles look pretty similar. If not, it kind of looks like in the 2025 photo, the handles are longer, but yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise me though, because I find Louis Vuitton is very expensive these days. Now, they also have this Bumbag, which is very limited, and this was seen on the runway in 2008. And this one has a exotic trim, so it looks like a python or a snake or something in metallic. And then the new one actually just has is that like a vachetta leather? So I think the new one doesn't feature any exotic. So one would say that, you know, the 2008 one should be priced higher anyway because the materials are more expensive. With the approximate inflation, it should be 10,762, but it is 13,300 for the new one, compared to the 2008 price at 7,200. Now, this doesn't really surprise me either because it being mink, they're always going to jack up the price more than what it should be. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me, although I will say that perhaps the 2008 version does seem more expensive because of the exotic trim. So there's that. Now they're comparing the 2004 Alma to the 2025 Alma BB. Now with the Alma PM, I think it was actually a very good price in 2004, $1,020, euros, that's actually a very good price. And the Alma PM is a decent sized bag. It also features this zip pocket at the front, these studs on the chaps, and it has these really thick handles and then studs all around the base as well. Now the new Alma BB, when I saw the price of it in the catalog, I was kind of shocked at the price because I think for an Alma BB, it is really overpriced. And a lot of people are saying the Alma BB is more of a bargain price compared to some of the other bags. But I disagree, guys, because Alma BB was always on the lower end of the Louis Vuitton bags. Like, it was never an expensive bag. It's always been like a cheaper Louis Vuitton bag. So for it to be 2,350 euros, and you're also comparing a BB to a PM, yeah, the BB, I just think it's too expensive for what it is, but let me know what you think as well. Now, the benefit of the BB is that it's a cuter, smaller bag, perhaps, and it has a crossbody strap. Now, it does have less details. It doesn't have the zip, but it does come with a bow clochette, which, to be honest, I don't think that would add much cost to the bag. It's just a very simple vachetta clochette that... It's not like, you know, extra hardware or anything, because the bigger one would also come with a lock, so there's that. And it's a smaller bag, so yeah, I do think that in this comparison, I would say that the older version is kind of better actually, and you can pick up the older version. Sometimes it goes for really good deals in the pre-love market. I find that the Alma PM is not as popular as some of the other multicolor styles, and I quite like the Alma PM, but the Alma BB I see would appeal to people of today because it's a mini bag and a lot of people prefer the proportions of it. Speedy 30 was always a very expensive bag from Louis Vuitton in the multicolor. I watched a video from Trisha Paytas and she said the price and I thought that's quite expensive for that time. So it was $2,730 US back in 2004. Now this version of a Speedy 30, it does feel very expensive if you've seen one in real life. It does have this bit at the side where you can lock the bag, and that closure in itself feels like quite substantial. And then the handles also are thicker. The chaps are thicker and it has studs on the chaps, and it also has that front pocket with the S-lock. So there is a lot more happening with this bag, and I would say that the canvas is also like a bit more of a thicker material. So I find that on like the older multicolor bags, the canvas is quite thick and structured, whereas I know in some newer Louis Vuitton bags, the canvas is more thin and flexible, which can be a pro because it's lighter to carry and also less susceptible to cracking. But it does feel a little bit cheaper, I guess, because it feels flimsier. So in comparing to the 2025 version, it actually, the price is not too bad compared to the inflated price of the old one. But I will say that the features of the new one don't look as elevated as the old one, although they might be more practical because, as I said, the old version was very heavy. So I think they've created the new Speedy to be more lightweight. It's also a 25, so it's 5 centimeters smaller than the 30, and it's a bandolier, so it has a crossbody strap. So I think a lot of people would find the 2025 version more wearable, although I think the features on the old Speedy felt more substantial and more expensive, and it was more expensive. And even if you look at the way that the handles are made on the 2025 version, they're a lot more slimline, and I'm going to say they probably feel a little bit more lightweight. And I would love to actually compare the hardware as well, how the hardware is like on the 2004 version compared to the 2025 version, because yeah, sometimes you guys know, like, I'm not saying I know for sure, but like with newer bags, sometimes the hardware doesn't feel as substantial as like older bags. Sometimes they cut corners on the hardware and this sort of thing. So I'd be curious for somebody, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of videos about this upcoming, people unboxing the new collection and comparing it to the old collection in terms of the quality. I think that's something that I would really love to observe and see whether it is worth investing in the new collection and whether these bags are going to last like some of the other pieces have lasted, right? I think some of these other pieces from the older collections, they have withstanded time, apart from the bleeding issues, I would say. Yeah, it looks like this is actually pretty reasonably priced for 2025, and the new version actually is cuter. It has like a vachetta trim. So I would say that this is a good update, and because I don't really love the snap lock closure clip on the 2006 version, because sometimes they can get quite chipped. So yeah, I would say this is kind of worth it. The zippy wallet, yeah, again, the price is not too bad actually compared to the 2008 price. I think this is actually a fair price. So in terms of value, I guess the SLGs aren't as bad. And then this little 2004 key clay compared to the 2025 one. I will say that the 2004 one looks a bit fancier because it has the golden corners and the trim, whereas the 2025 one is simpler. And it's, the price of it is not that bad compared to the 2004. It's not actually a huge difference. I will just say though that the fanciness of the 2004 one, like it looks like the 2004 one, there's a lot more detail in it, right? So there's that. But I'm sure the 2025 one will sell well because it's much simpler in design, and they can probably produce a lot more of those compared to the 2004 version with those little bits of corners and details. I know this Lodge bag back in 2006 was 2,400 Australian dollars. That's very expensive for back then. So this bag was a pretty expensive bag, and today I don't know if they could make it $5,000 or something, but maybe. I think it's expensive because of the pockets, all the buckles and the hardware. Has a little luggage tag as well, and yeah, it does feel like a very substantial bag. And what I've noticed is that on the newer collection, they take away a lot of the pockets and the studs and all those extra bits and bobs, and that's where they can also cut on the cost, right, of production, and it can also churn out more of these bags because there's less detail in them, right? But at the same time, I think some of the detail in the older collections looks a little bit dated and it adds weight to the bag, so it also is a bonus because it's kind of what the consumer wants as well. And I mean, even with this like Bumbag bag, so this bag I picked up pre-loved, and you can see it has the golden corners, it has this little pocket in the front, studs everywhere. And this would have cost, I don't actually know what the retail was of this back in 2004, so this one's from 2004, but I can imagine this would be rather expensive too if it was in the store now because of all the studs in the pocket and all the details. That all adds to the cost of the bag. And I know that, you know, for example, the Alma BB, they still have a few little studs on it, but, you know, it's on a smaller scale, so they don't have to invest as much into materials and things like that, whereas the price is inflated a lot. So I would say if you like the old collection, I think it's still worth buying the old collection because you just get a lot more details, and perhaps the craftsmanship was better back then too. I don't know for sure, but I guess only time will tell when we start seeing these new bags come out onto the market. Maybe you can go to the store yourself and check it out. Perhaps, I know I'll probably see some on the pre-love market too in time. But I would love to compare what the old collection is like compared to the new collection, and whether you think it's worth the current price. Like, do you think it's worth how much it is? Because I kind of see why it's priced the way it is for today's standard, because people will buy it and people are willing to pay that much, right? But I'd love to know your thoughts, and what do you think about the old prices compared to the new? Thanks for watching my video today. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!